right, shall we begin? Yes, we should. Thanks, everybody, for coming again. I want to start off, I'd like to just go around and see what the subcommittees have done, but I'd like to propose something. And, I think, we've got to know the subcommittees all together, and then, got the first meetings together. I'd like to propose us all starting coming together again once a month instead of all the separate meetings. And I think Amy's in favor of that, Jerry's in favor of that. Still good?
Yeah.
No, so.
We actually had to cancel our first budget subcommittee meeting because of the pool meeting last night, so.
Well, that is,
too many meetings.
and Leo's, playing from room to room, and it's just a little too much, so we'll start doing that once a month. And but dance was working. But we can definitely still have meetings outside of this meeting. Remember the law on the meetings, 3 people, that includes text, emails, all that, chain emails, chain text, so 2 together is good. But we can always let Cindy know that we're gonna have another subcommittee meeting with more than that. Maybe we want to start having these at Village Inn with Hot.
Maybe on Wednesdays?
Free pie Wednesday.
No.
Thursday, my day off.
Thursday's the breakfast.
Yeah.
What? Where? $5 breakfast. Thursday at the Village Inn.
There. So we'll get started and Pool's Special Projects Subcommittee has done a tremendous job, and they're still going strong. We all know about the meeting last night, and Dave's been a super leader for us. Dave, you want to just sort of summarize for the rest of the team?
Well, we're putting together a bunch of options. As a lot of you have heard, we have a document that we're working on. It's called Knowledge Compiled and Options Identified. And we're tracking all the different things that are being identified. And we have assignments for everything we found out so far. Some of them are still who, or let's see, Tasha, you and council member are gonna be working on the marijuana issue, right?
Yes.
So we're gonna explore that, run it to the ground. Tasha has some experience. Maybe describe some of your experiments.
Well, I worked in corporate cannabis for 3 years in licensing and compliance. So I have some background in multi-state operations, but Jerry and I were talking about this a little bit yesterday. I don't know if we're ready to share an update or if now's the time or not, but we have a little bit of updates, I guess. But I don't want to derail the agenda.
Well, just really quick, I got the ballot language and then reached out to our attorneys and they said that it doesn't have to be a vote back to the ballot. Council can, but there's a lot of moving parts to it. I don't think that would have to be a whole separate discussion. Going back to 2014 when we went through it for a year and tried to figure out all the ins and outs of it.
So I think the breakdown is that please correct me if I'm wrong, that the city is actually already, or the voters have already approved a sales tax on all marijuana sales, medical and at 5%. So that would not need to go
Right.
back. And so it would be and even though it did go to the voters before in terms of actual recreational facilities, that was not supported, but there's nothing that states that it has to go to the voters. So that could be a city council determination. So I think next steps on that are probably to look into, some estimates, some estimates on what that might look like financially, because there's a lot of considerations there with how the markets tend to move. But then also locations, because there are variances. My understanding is that the state variances are 1,000 feet from schools and churches and such, that those can be overridden, I think, by localities down to 500 feet, but it's not that common. We have one medical facility in town already. Colorado does have dual licensure, so they could, a lot of times when places do this, they would allow a first right of application to the existing facility in case they want to add recreational to their current sales. So yeah, there's a lot of that kind of those kind of things. I don't know I haven't started looking at other location issues around town in terms of what would even be a feasible location for such a facility.
Yeah, so the things we'd have to, really quick, we'd have to figure out what locations are available or potentially available if they're not already existing. What is the potential revenue? Because when we were looking at this 12 years ago, it didn't seem very over the top, you know, with 2 or 3 in town, but I don't know how we figure that out, but that's something we'll have to figure out. And then there's also gonna be more stuff for staff to do if that is something that comes to town. So I've already heard from someone that it's going to be difficult on staff,
We probably have to add
possibly
staff.
adding staff just to handle that aspect, but I don't know. These are all things I don't know.
Is it Cindy who's primarily in charge right now of the medical licensing?
Yeah, so you'd have to, there'd be additional compliance things that come into
Yeah.
play, and then we'd probably want to talk to other communities about the public safety aspect as well, because I know some communities added public safety, so police officers,
Gotcha.
because of the addition of recreational.
Yeah, it's definitely not a no demand. It's not definitely not a no demand.
So a lot of people have been talking to me about this, and I think, from a political standpoint, people are open to the concept if it goes into medical facilities, but they're not interested in expanding the buildings in other locations. And so I thought we had 2 medicals, but if we've only got 1,
Oh, I could be wrong. Is the other one it's also in the city? I didn't know if it was in the
Is
county.
that in the city or county?
I think it's county.
it says,
The one that's on Highway 50
Yeah,
is in the county.
yeah.
which
The one
one?
that's on East Main is in the city.
Okay.
I think.
Which one is on Highway 50?
The one that's on Highway 50 is by Quality.
Napa, across from Napa.
Is that still there? That was.
Yeah, I don't think that one's still there.
Oh, no, Maggie's Farm. That one is not still there. There's one on the other side.
Yeah,
Um,
that.
Right, that's the B one, and then there's the one over by where Homer's used to be, by the laundromat.
Yeah.
On,
That's
up on Elm.
That's county, yes.
That's what I thought. So I think
Well, we are
one was
talking
city.
annexation and some stuff, if I can be bold about that, but I just think we've got the politics to pay attention to with that as well. And so if it goes into existing, medical, I think most people are satisfied with it, but I've got pretty good pushback if we start expanding beyond that, so.
I think we also, I mean, before we have staff do too much work, I think it is a vote of city council as to whether or not they would even want to have a vote on it. Or whether they do think it needs to be deferred back to the people. I would just hate to have staff do a lot of work and spend a lot of time on it before we get kind of is this something that we're comfortable deciding at a city council level or not?
Yeah.
I think it makes a lot of sense to do the modeling and to like get a lot of the information so that they can make an informed decision, but I just don't want to see staff when we have so many priorities, spend a lot of time on an issue that may not have legs.
Yeah, and there was a, group that asked me about how do you have a citizen petition? So they're checking into that. They probably had gone to the clerk and asked her about it as well.
Yeah, it comes up almost on an annual basis where people will ask about it, and very rarely does it amount to much.
Ask about what?
Citizen petition to put it on the ballot to for a vote of the people and, go around the council.
One question I have, and sorry, I could look this up and find it out myself, but where's the taxes on medical sales going right now? Where is it allocated to?
I'm not certain there is.
I don't know that there is.
Like a specific allocation.
So I was gonna ask,
What?
does the state actually collect the sales tax on that? Or does
I
that
thought
be
that there was-
something we're gonna have to do on our own like we do with our use tax? I don't know if they remit that to the state or not. I don't know since we don't have those facilities.
I would have to go back and look, cause I think what was passed was for recreational, the
Okay.
5%. I don't think it was for the medical.
I guess I was just wondering, cause okay, so maybe there's not a city sales tax on medical sales then, just the state tax, cause I was wondering if that would give some flexibility. For, I guess it's just that single facility in the city, but I just wondered if that was something I don't think our committee had talked about at all, was anything regarding sales tax on medical marijuana. So I don't know if that's something that we want to
Yeah.
maybe add to the list to explore.
But the long and the short is that it's being pursued.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. Conversation. And
Yes, I have one question. The 5% is a state sales tax on medical and recreational, right? The voters of Canyon City have
With my receipt.
tax
Yeah,
They
they did in
did?
2013, 2014.
2013.
Yeah,
on recreational or just marijuana?
on
I'm gonna,
recreation.
I can read it.
But since there's no recreational in Kansas City, it just.
So the existing medical should have a business license and be collecting city and county.
Yes.
The other caveat is when it was approved by the voters, any revenue generated from that sales tax is supposed to go to streets. So you'd have to go back to the voters to change that.
so, for my,
Got one person for it.
just to remind everyone, the task we have is to try to figure out how we get funding for about $500,000 worth of O&M for the pool. That seems to be the short amount. Yes,
Leo has one, we'll have more of an update tomorrow, but the other idea I think that was under consideration was could we put. Some sort of metered parking onto the.
you're on that.
Lot.
aren't you?
Yeah, so Leo has had city staff looking into it and reaching out to 6 different companies, and we'll have more of an update
Good.
tomorrow, so just to let you know that it's in the works.
Great.
And I interject with the full
Yes.
thing here.
Not yet.
Mike,
Yeah,
I had done some research on some political files,
Okay.
and it could
Because you two
be,
are the parking deal, right?
and it could be anywhere from little to no cost
Yeah.
You could generate whatever.
up to
Gotcha.
thousands. But the little or no cost would be the one where you just set up a QR code and a website that QR code takes you to, you put your credit card in, you put up about 10, 15 signs around the parking lot, that's all that's the cost.
Plus, of course,
Enforcement.
And then Barry's heading up, the effort to look at the O&M costs that the contract generated, to see if there's any savings available.
no update this time.
No, I'll take this time.
Gary, just on that, if you'd like, a friend of mine she used to manage the Olympic training pool up in the Springs, and she said that she'd be happy to look at the pro forma with us if we want, just to get an external expert on it.
Sure. That's it?
Yeah, well, there's more, but we already took up a lot of it. Yeah, we're doing a lot.
Did you have a question on the pool?
Well, I was gonna throw in what we talked about today, for a little bit, that, we had a meeting with the tourism today. And in that tourism meeting, talking about the 1%, I guess, or the 1% of that goes for tourism, it goes into the city. So there's dollars there that happens, comes back. So it prompted me to start thinking, because I've been trying to think about the pool, but I approached Atmos, we have a meeting tomorrow with the Black Hills. None of the people are gonna give us any money, basically, for O&M. So thought process is kind of where, thinking from the city standpoint, tourism and the pool. So it cost $35 to go to the day bridge. It cost, the train's $100, rafting's $150, hotels approximately $150, food in town might be $100. And I don't know, if since we're gonna talk about indoor pool, we're talking about $10 a day, right? For people who wanna come into the pool. Is that fair? That's what it's gonna cost us, $10 for the pool.
Yeah, call it 10.
So let's just say, okay, let's say 10. So there's 25,000 people from what I can gather that would have some interest in showing up at the pool. So let's just say we only get 10,000 of those people. 10,000 of those people, we send out a $5,000 package to those people that includes something from the bridge, something from the train, maybe a buy one, get one, or a discount. We make it have value. And we sell it to them at $365 for a year pass. Make them pay in 4 payments, not gonna be done yet, but $365 for 10,000 people is $3.6 million. And we're giving them some value for it, and you're driving them to the tourism side, which is gonna pay back tax to the city. So even if you're just doing a mailing and you're sending out all this stuff, and you let them, once they become a member, they get this package. It can be done online, it doesn't have to necessarily be mailed, but it's a way, they're putting a package together for these 10,000 people that wanna pay. So, and it's I don't think we're gonna see 200 people a day at the pool when it opens up. I don't think that number's unrealistic. But at the same token, I do think that we could capture 10,000 people with $365, whether you broke that down in a payment over 6 months or 12 months for the pool to become a member, and they get that whole year for free. We don't really need them to do it one time, and that's almost our 5 years, 3.5 years or 3.6 million. So I'm just trying to think of outside of creative ways that will allow us to cover the O&M.
Call that a tourism pass.
Like a tour, yeah, it's like a tour, they're doing more than just the pool, it's kind of because they hate tax. So they're gonna deny, 50% of the people hate it, they hate the word tax, so don't call it a tax, sell them something, that they get a benefit from it. And they get a benefit, they get, and then they're gonna, I think the tourism side will go, if we figure out a way from the city. To sponsor it and promote it, the tourism side will give more, I think they'll give. I don't know what, I mean, from the bridge side, I don't know what you could do, is it about, and it's, so you have to package it so that if you're giving them something, they're gonna bring somebody else too, so that tourism benefits as well. So maybe it's just you get your pass for free, or you get 2 for a family, or whatever that comes up to, but most of those people are gonna bring somebody else, so they're gonna spend more money. But you're covering much more bases. And you're helping the tourism side who are complaining that the city's not doing enough for bringing tourism, which probably is, whether it's factual or not, I don't know. But that's an option that allows you to drive tourism, give money, and we get our pool paid for it. It's not that hard. I mean, it's because nobody else is gonna give us any money. And I think if you go back out after a tax, the tax is gonna get turned back down. But at this place, this way they're paying for their own pool,
Something we can look into.
right?
We're doing all this.
Anyway.
Just
Thought process.
one quick thought, I
Yeah.
think there needs to be a family thing in there, cause if it's 3 something for 4, family 4, that's in the 1,200 range.
Right,
So,
you can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the basis to start. I mean, if you only need $365 for 10,000 households, for just one person in that household, $365. So you wanna give them more, add that onto the package. I mean, I only added up what the bridge, the train, rafting and a hotel and some food. I mean, you could, the food place, if you're gonna put something out like that, the chamber and all the other people should kick in and try to get people to, hey, if you're gonna do that and you're gonna let these people, hey, we'll kick in a $10 gift card to come down and spend money. I mean, $10 is, I'll throw that in. I mean, you might get a $10,000 or $20,000 package put together that the people are paying $365 for and be stoked to pay it because they're gonna get all these coupons and, get to use and make their money back.
Like a Canyon Play Pass.
Yeah,
I thought of like an entertainment, remember the entertainment books?
And, yeah, entertainment. Here's-
Yeah.
Yeah, and you do that, I mean, but you could sell the book, I mean, that's the
Yeah.
whole.
And if it can have like a lot of like, I don't know if how much this would contribute to any kind of revenue, but just in terms of making it marketable, like local businesses, including coupons for like 10% off at their shop or, X% off with minimum purchase or, but you could just recruit small businesses all around.
All day long, if the city
like
did it,
that,
and you were telling them why you were doing it, and this was the new package, and so. The other side, I guess, you have to have a separate account for that until you got the pool built. But you're getting that money would have to go in so that when the pool's built, they give that. But then they would reoccur, if they're gonna do it once, you're gonna do it twice, and I think you get more than 10,000 people.
So I think that would be gravy on top of something that we need hard commitment that we are gonna receive the money for. Like, if that money from the parking meter.
Right.
If we dedicate that,
Or something that we
I
could
think
carve out.
we're gonna get 300,000 from that, 400,000. But
I might have
that's
missed
what
the first part.
company wants, something like that.
They pay $365 for this pass and say $100 goes for a trip. So they pay that $365 and they get a train ticket in that packet.
Well, I'm saying,
They
yeah,
generate donations.
it just,
Oh, it's a donation.
Yeah,
yeah.
you go out to the business and get donations to put this package together.
Right, I'm not saying the train's gonna give them a free ride, train might give them a 50% off, or it might give them something, but you're gonna give them some package that, I mean, when I did the math, I come up with $5,000. I mean, that could, not great, that's saying, hey, give a package, but the bridge may not say, hey, we're gonna donate, 10,000 passes. But they might donate 10,000 passes if it was at 50% or 20% off. Same with the bridge, or same with the train, same with the hotel. I mean, to drive traffic, and we're trying to drive traffic back into Canyon City, into the tourism. So that's all you would be doing, and so you're actually gonna double dip, you're gonna get them to pay for the O&M, and you're gonna get the percentage for them for the money they're spending in the tourism. And we'll fix the potholes with that.
Well,
So,
what is it, Leo?
right, there you go.
So I
So,
think you need to have a commitment though from like City Hall or something, and then this reverses it. Cause the bonding people are gonna want that solid commitment as opposed to revenue streams going up and down. But you could have all these campaigns going on that reimburses the city, the line item or whatever it is, so I'm sure. But I know the bonding people are gonna want, this is gonna happen. So,
Right.
good idea, I like it.
Ryan, you looked like you had thoughts. No.
He
okay.
doesn't like the city budget.
Just trying to
Process.
process.
So that's it.
His brain's starting to smoke over here.
Not yet.
All right, anything else on the special project pool committee? Thank you, Dave. What about public works? Anything good there?
Oh, we met yesterday and Leo was there and gave us a little rundown on all the thousands of things he's responsible for. And then we just talked about some, you know, local issues, mostly about the laterals and stuff like that. And then Leo gave us some little bit of homework, some things that they would like us to start working on. So our committee has a list of those items to start looking into.
And Mike sort of led that piece there.
Jerry summed it up pretty good. We talked about the flat rate billing system that's being discussed for stormwater. And the laterals,
Yeah, so that make it easy on Leo.
yeah. We didn't go into detail on it, but we did mention.
So you're gonna make his job easier and give him more money?
Can we ask, just on the ditch laterals, where are we on that? What are the next steps?
We were just discussing the one issue we had that council has in front of us with those guys in that one situation. And so I mean, I'm not a professional on this stuff, but my opinion was that the state says if you don't have any benefit from the lateral, you shouldn't be responsible for repairs. But our ordinance, we have an ordinance that says if it's on your property, you're responsible for repairs. I don't agree with our ordinance, but then you brought up a good point, or someone did. If they say, okay, you're not responsible for it, but we gotta repair it, so we're gonna tear out your driveway to fix it. So it's kind of like, I don't know what the right answer is for that.
Threaten that. I don't know that the laterals are actually ditch right away.
Yeah.
They're more at the city right away.
Usually, yeah.
So that would
Yeah.
come into play
I
necessarily.
think it's a threat. There might be some places where the laterals, but there's the ditch that runs in front of my place has got other problems that they've never addressed. It for years, I've been there for over 30 years, it's dumped out past my property into a field. Every time I mention something to him, it says that's supposed to go right straight to the hydraulic ditch. It doesn't, there's never been a ditch there that took it. So the ditch companies are just playing a game, and I found out the Fruitland ditch said in their original bylaws that they would be responsible for everything. Laterals, head gates, you name it, and those articles of incorporation have never been changed. But yet they stand on the fact that the city's ordinance says the property owners. And I haven't dug into South Canyon or Oil Creek or any of
I
it.
think our attorneys are still working on
Yes.
an opinion to that court finding, like they had come out with the preliminary thoughts on it, and I asked a bunch of questions, and they're like, we'll get back to you on that.
Yeah.
So we're waiting on that, and then I think the decision will be, you know, how do we wanna kind of roll that out to council and the public and start that discussion about like, what needs to change, does anything need to change, how do we wanna handle what happened on 14th Street and the residents that are inquiring there. I think waiting for kind of a legal opinion is where we are at right now.
Yeah, I think there were some questions that you had raised about the facts that were ruled on, and not all of the facts were accurate.
I can test some facts.
So that was part of, waiting on the, get contact, and I
Yeah.
mean, the other part was, we brought up that we pay that, and then we set that precedence of paying it. We may pay a few people, then it opens up.
Right, well, we're gonna
Spots.
have to wait until we get that
I
information.
mean, I know I'm not part of the subcommittee, but since I am part of the bigger committee, to me, it seems like we should at least communicate back to them. They've sent us at least one letter, and it would be, I think, good form for the city to respond and say, thank you for your letter. We're currently having our attorneys look into this. We will, we hope to have a more, I don't know, more definitive response, or, yeah.
We hope to delay this long enough that the $800 doesn't matter anymore.
I think the biggest piece should be the condition.
That was a joke, for the record.
Call Sharon back today, and
Oh.
I'll let her know that, so she's aware of that.
Right.
It would be, from my perspective at least, though, given that they formally sent us at least one letter, I think it would be nice that we responded in time, so.
No, I was gonna say that, but
Look at that. All of a sudden, we're getting good collaboration again with everybody. Yeah, it works. Thanks, Amy.
Can I backtrack for 1 second? I'm sorry, I'm just sitting here thinking, I just looked at again, the Canyon City Daily Record, and both articles were wrong, that were there, and last fall, my view is that it got in the weeds because there was so much misinformation out there, and I'm wondering if we don't have a concerted effort in this committee or somehow to get the real story out there as opposed to let this percolate and it just gets worse and worse as far as the misinformation. There was a lot of comments online last night on our council video, and most of those were inaccurate. And so somehow I think we need to take an aggressive or proactive effort to get correct information out as opposed to get behind the 8 ball with it, and then you just can't catch up
On the swimming pool,
the swimming pool.
I agree. I don't think you're gonna convince those people that.
Not to convince them, but just get real
Yeah.
information out.
I think Phil just offered to do a press conference of sorts.
It's a press release.
Again, I think that's right, to some degree.
Just a press release after the meeting. You can actually have one prepared with some blanks and just fill them in.
Yeah, I think it needs to be an exchange, so, back and forth, so. I'm thinking you're correct.
Might be nice as well, though, sometimes, after events, I'll write, like a special to the Daily Record, just so that it, takes some of the strain and burden of distilling all of the information down.
Yeah.
So maybe both, to Jerry and Dave's point, have the press conference and already have the press release about the press conference ready to go with some blanks that can just be filled in about the exchange.
Yeah, and it needs to be social media as well, so. Can I put something together and bring you in as the chair and Dave and whoever else, and we have some kind of forum that is, here's the correct information, we're not gonna get behind on this.
I think it probably needs to go through Christie for, as well.
Yeah, I think if you want to draft something, we can run it through Christie and have it put out through Christie. And then if you're gonna do a press conference, we can get that set up as well.
It needs to be live in my humble opinion, so,
You can do both.
yeah, both and, that's fine. So, who's leading that one?
I'll follow up with Ryan and Christie.
Certainly the latest.
Anything on the budget committee?
The budget committee decided that the full meeting was more important, so we canceled our first subcommittee meeting. We had planned to reschedule it pending Councilmember Maloney's availability for Monday evening, but given the move to kind of go back to just one committee, I guess I'm wondering if maybe Councilmember Maloney and I could come up with a rough sketch of a plan for what the 2027, obviously, talking to Sandy and Ryan, but of what the 2027 budget process could look like, in a way that had a lot more involvement from this committee and other citizens kind of in the lead up to And then present that to this committee at the April meeting. I'm totally springing this on the chair. Is that okay? Is that?
You're just saying we need to get together and come up with a plan. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
We're at.
Probably, it wouldn't be an open meeting, so we just be the two of us.
Yeah.
So probably over a glass.
Yes, that sounds good. After a meeting of sorts.
Yes.
Yeah. Post-meeting meeting.
Post-meeting meeting. And obviously, if anybody has thoughts or ideas about that, we would welcome it, but we'll also present it to the committee so that folks will have everyone will have an opportunity.
One thing that we need to go back on, we're gonna have to get back with a recommendation to council here pretty quick. What think we said, the 16th, you wanted something?
That's the date that you threw out there.
Yes.
Is that a hard date?
It's not a
What's the
hard
date, what's the absolute date that the city council needs it?
April.
April 6th.
Why are we going on the 16th?
I want to give an update, whether we have, an idea, because we've got a lot of ideas. We need to narrow those down and see what can come to fruition. And if we've got some great ideas going that come to fruition, we probably ought to start disclosing those. We had a lot of questions on what's your ideas last time. So I think we can start rolling those out.
But we're not gonna be ready to present results even in April.
Is it, well, we'll have to do it then.
Well,
It was in April, but 45 days from July 1 would be.
all that.
You have two reasons.
All that-
You have to have two readings if you decide to stop the tax.
All that we, as far as I understand, all we have to do is recommend to the city council that they not do anything related to the tax.
Correct.
And then it keeps collecting.
And what we would use for, as a justification for their recommendation is all the work we have in process to try to get to the end point and get the pool going. We are there now. In my opinion. Now, if we want to start
Well,
showing the council results of actions that we have in process, that's gonna be short time.
well, I think what we'll be showing is the ability to, for example, the parking meters. What's that? How long would it take to install those? What would be the recovery from those? Where would it go to Tammy's pot of gold over there? And, you know, we have to work through the budget committee, the finance committee, and everybody, because we wouldn't all.
By the 16th.
Want a little go somewhere else.
By the 16th.
Maybe the first meeting in April might be a little bit more realistic. I would just hate to have an update on, what would that even be, on Monday? Anyway, I would hate to have an update that isn't quite enough of an update. And I feel like we had a
That would be the.
couple more weeks, we might be able to
Yeah.
have more of a presentation. on how
To get the two readings in, yeah.
Yeah. So we could get the two readings in before July.
You have to have
Does-
the second reading done by the first meeting in May, because our deadline is it May 15th,
And the second meeting is May 18th.
something like that?
Yep. So if we did the first reading April 20th and the second reading May 4th.
And that's only if you are stopping collection of the
Yeah.
sales tax.
On a 30 days of notice for that ordinance to be in effect too,
It's a
or?
5-day, I think.
Yeah.
So I mean, it seems
So
like
it has to have the second reading by first meeting in May.
So it seems like if we as a subcommittee gave an update on April 6th, which is the first meeting, the month from now. And we could essentially lay out all of the work and all of the progress that's been done, what some of the potential ways forward are. And then city council could direct staff as to whether or not they would like to see a first reading of an ordinance on the April 20th meeting. Does that make sense from your perspective?
Yes. Just wondering about the concept of determination that we are determined that we're gonna pull off this 500,000. Or whatever that number is, and so we're going for it, and then you don't have to have the second reading or the first and second reading, because you're gonna keep collecting and we're gonna find it one way or the other in this town. And I like Dan's thoughts as far as making it a saleable thing, but there needs to be, again, for the bonding people, a specific line item that they can rely on for the next number of years.
Yeah.
Before they're gonna do that, so.
They all over that.
Okay.
I'm all over it.
Yeah.
I believe you did.
I have one question. Where's the rec district in all this conversation?
So Dave's been pulling them on in most of our conversations, right?
In my opinion, I've stated this before, it's a rec district problem the city's trying to help with.
Not necessarily. We have to come up with the operations, right?
We don't have to. It's a rec district response team. The rec district was chartered and formed with one goal, to operate and maintain a swimming pool. The city is collecting a tax to help them with that. The rec district should be involved in these conversations for this other $500,000. And we've had, I think, a couple of the board meetings of one of them that have unofficially said that the rec district would probably come up with $70,000. But we haven't got anything official from the rec district.
Yeah, but the city's gonna benefit, so I mean, the city had, and can't. I mean,
I still don't think the city should be in the swimming pool business.
but they're not.
We can help fund it. We can come up with the means to come up with that $500,000.
The city-
That $500,000 has got to go to the rec district, not the city.
My understanding is the reason that it's centric to the city is because the rec district has expended all its possible options for the O and M fund.
I understand that.
And so there's one option left, is whether the city is going to step up in some fashion to make the difference up to the pool. That's the one option that remains.
I understand that, but I don't think that that's a general fund question.
Well,
These methods that we were coming up with, where the marijuana, the gift package, the parking lot fees. Is a means to help the rec district and would go directly to them. And my proposal on the parking was the city leased that lot to the rec district for $1 a year. And that lot becomes their responsibility. They put in the parking system, they pay the insurance and the maintenance and everything else. That was my proposal. And if, at a bare minimum, that would bring in $438,000. Plus their 70 is 508,000, you've got the problem solved. If we can bring in a little bit of money here to get recreational. The recreational marijuana as it is now has got to go to roads. So that can't help the pool. So that's pretty much off the table.
I mean, that would go to the roads, and then some of the tourism side of it.
I still don't think it should take away from city.
I understand.
I don't know if that ballot language said that
So I
the
didn't get a copy.
increased revenue on the sales tax would basically reduce the funding the city had, or if it would add to it.
I think Jerry's pulling that up right now.
Yeah, so does it, you know what I mean?
The-
Sell
the
taxes,
24 the
sell
2014
taxes.
election?
The 2013 tax,
About 13.
taxes be increased by 100,000 annually in the first full fiscal year. If we approved retail marijuana cultivation facility sale within the city and products, blah, 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 section 1 of the. It doesn't say, it
That's
does not,
medical.
it doesn't earmark it for anything. No, this is retail. 2013.
Just retail.
It was
period.
the $100,000 cap, which was a Tabor thing, but Ryan said that doesn't apply anymore, so.
Yeah, there was no tax on the medical.
It doesn't say what it goes to, it just says that we can collect it 100,000 at the time, 5%.
But it shouldn't be.
That was the,
The retail facility should take what it says.
If it wasn't in the ballot question, then it may not be.
Yeah, I will have to go back. I'm trying to find it now, because I thought that Catherine had mentioned that, and wasn't from Catherine, it came.
And on
from-
recreational marijuana, the city can set their own tax on that, right?
that would have to go to the voters if we,
It does.
No.
Well, if you bring in recreational marijuana, that part of that could be the. Or second question could be however Tabor makes you do it now. You could tax that at 10% if you wanted to.
I think just going back to the parking lot, I think my concern about.
Her email to you says, note that revenue is pledged to streets.
I didn't know, I would be concerned
So
about.
I didn't get the copy of what you have.
oh,
so
it
I
wasn't a fact.
It was not.
Experience.
So I don't know.
Maintenance of parking lots, so I was worried that it would actually increase
It's
their
a
stuff.
state tax.
I don't know that we.
Could you forward me that? So-
Yeah, I'll
It's
just
it's
forward
not like
this.
it requires a full-time person to maintain that parking lot, it's like we're able to cover it with existing stuff.
So Mike, as we're trying to get everything on the table, we'll take a look at that.
Can I throw one more out on the table? And I'm sure the rec district people are gonna look at this in the future, and I'm aware that they're gonna look at this in the future, but one person who spoke last night was reminding everyone that the mission of the rec district is to build and run a pool. And he believes that they've got into a lot of other stuff that they shouldn't have, and their trails and their parks and everything else is a budget at around $700,000. Turn that over to the city and let the city run that stuff that they're good at in the parks. And there's the $700,000 that the rec district goes back to its original mission and takes and uses that for the pool. And so that was what he was pitching. He was actually trying to poll the rec district board members yesterday to see if they would be open to that concept, and it goes right back to the original mission. So
Again, we give
you don't
you
like
something
that?
else.
What don't you like?
It's just,
Some of their stuff is outside city limits that.
well, we have parks outside city limits already, but they've built these parks.
Essentially, I don't know.
They've continued to add
That's how
programs
Dustin sounds.
for the last 15 years, when they knew the pit pool was failing. And they say their budget's tight, but they keep adding trails, they keep adding other things. I think it's their responsibility. If the city can help them, that's fine, but I don't think it's the city's responsibility to take on any more than what the city already has. And definitely not the pool. We will help them, we can pass that money through to
Right,
them.
but that does give them the option of clearing up their budget so that they have dollars in there to fund the pool and make that
But
happen.
then that puts it on the city's budget, the city doesn't have that money.
Yeah, I think that's about 300 man hours of maintenance and caretaking for the parks.
So you add
rec
that
district
on to
facilities.
Leo's budget.
It would hit our parks budget,
I understand there would be a side of that,
Operating
but
costs.
Yeah, we would need to add more personnel.
Lawnmower stuff.
So there,
but shoot it down now, or we actually explore that, and just see.
It's
if
actually on
possible.
this.
Done a little
Actually on this.
Okay.
We just haven't figured out how to explore cash and.
Right,
I'd be happy to go to, I think the rec district is meeting on Tuesday night, I'd be happy to go and just say, is this something that you're open to, the city could look into? What the budget, I have no idea if the city would be open to it, but the city could.
I'm sure the rec district is 100% in favor of it. It benefits them more than,
Reconstruct public
more than
streets
it does
within
the city.
And I wouldn't want
Just
to.
for your executive director, I don't think you're in favor of it. I know that they want it, so.
I wouldn't want to do that without something, or the committee thinking that that was a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
We're
absolutely.
we're exploring everything. Everything's on the table.
Yeah, it'd have to go back
Yeah.
for a vote, yeah.
That would help us.
There was a second thing that was brought up, and that was to.
And that wouldn't get approved
The
because they
synergies
think we're
around
taking
the
money from the
city,
street.
Parks Department, the Parks and Rec group together, like maybe you only need one lawnmower instead of two.
Or
Is there any
Economies of scale.
thank you, economies of scale?
Or
That was
the
another
city.
thing that was brought up.
yeah, if the city's got one area they're going to outside. Like the up 3A. And they're always working up there on that park. Maybe somebody else takes it over the rec district or vice versa, and they trade off with something else. I don't know.
No, I don't, sorry, I don't want to give any city parks to the rec district.
No,
No, but you want
maintenance.
the rec
Just
district to give
maintenance.
you the parks.
I'm just trying to figure out a way forward.
Right.
And I think we would need more information before we could have a way forward. So
One-
if folks are okay with it, I'm happy to go to the rec district meeting, ask if they would be open to having those conversations, so that we could see if there are economies of scale, if there is synergism, and what it would mean for city budget and city staff. I just don't think that Leo and Tammy and Rex could start to have those conversations with the rec district without their board being.
What
giving
is,
it a-
what is clear though, is status quo is not working. So there needs to be movement one way or the other, and it's probably the city or the rec district or something has gotta happen. And so we're not gonna keep it the same. Either way, we wanna float it, so.
Yep.
That won't work.
As I'd like to move on to have citizens' comments. what have you heard that we can address from the citizens after our meetings or as you walk around town? Is there something that needs to be said? To the committee? I'll start. Potholes. Have we got a pothole crew?
Mhm.
Do we have a site that we can say there's a pothole over here?
You do,
See, quick fix.
see quick fix.
All right, good. We need to get that
And it
out.
works, thank you, Bill.
Did they
Yeah.
do one of
Yes,
those?
they did those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put that into press release, please.
What's the average turnaround when somebody puts a pothole in the seat that clicks?
I have to look, I would guess this time of year it's a little longer, we can't get asphalt as regularly, so. We can only get asphalt once a week sometimes, in the summer, we usually get it any day we want, it's usually same day if we don't have some other. Bigger project taking priority.
A lot of the asphalt plants are taken down for maintenance this time of year because it's usually cold outside.
Do you cut the potholes and then refill or do anything like that?
Typically not, typically we just fill what's there.
So I know what I've been using is the commercial bags. That, I mean, you pour that stuff in there, it's almost like a maple syrup and then it spreads perfectly, it sets up and
Good
fantastic.
if there's no traffic on it for a while.
It doesn't take long.
It doesn't take long.
No.
I talked to Leo last night, also at our meeting. Colorado Springs has some type of machine that they can fill potholes all year round. It's on the back of the truck, I don't know how it works, just saw it on the news. But I've had, the C-Click Fix app works for the most part. There's been a couple things that have taken a while, there's still one that's not completely fixed, but I haven't represented it, but. There was a pothole at 19th and Fremont Drive that I reported twice and. There was a couple more up at Franklin and they filled the ones at Franklin, but they didn't get the big one that was at Fremont Drive. And Leo's crew got out there today and did it.
Fantastic. Okay, that was my example. Anything else?
Sidewalks. People who have, limited mobility are having a hard time on our sidewalks.
We talked a little bit about that last night as well.
Yeah, our city code, in my opinion, pretty clearly defines sidewalks as a city responsibility, and we don't currently right now. Make a lot of investments in those, or spend a lot of time, and resources on taking care of them. We've started to do more with the 2A programs, but those, maybe touch a mile, a street a year kind of thing, so.
I've heard the city policy is it's a 50-50 venture.
We do have a program that allows residents to prioritize,
City will pay.
essentially.
Is that the way it works?
Yes.
Yeah,
Up to a certain
it's
amount.
up to a certain amount per square foot. It should be pretty close to a 50-50 venture at this point. with
Yeah,
the updates we did.
we updated some of the pricing so that it's more 50-50 than
I
it
think
has
that
been.
is capped, we budget a certain amount per year for that, see, I can't remember. If it's $35,000 or $40,000 a year is the maximum amount the city will spend on that program.
But
That's what we budget, so
yeah, I don't know, did we get close last year?
I would have to look. I don't believe so because our rates weren't very favorable for the match.
Yeah.
I would suspect this year we'll get back on track and get closer to that.
Would it be feasible to come up with kind of a, how you have your strategic plan for the next 5 years for roads? Would it be feasible to do something similar for sidewalks, to like look at what are the areas where we know folks most need them and are the most used, and kind of how do we budget out, say, over the next 10 years to get those repaired?
Yeah. It would be, it'd be a little bit of effort, so.
Yeah.
Develop that, but it's, a lot of the data is there, ultimately. Master plan work we did, we've got good maps of where they all are, and the condition they're in, so.
Would you start from the city center and work out?
I think so.
Or
That's what I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
cause I mean, yeah.
I mean, a lot of the
Give nod
ones
to
that
tourism,
have the
What's that?
highest,
give a nod to tourism.
a lot of the ones that have the
Well-
highest foot traffic are the walking schools, and a lot of those got the safe routes to schools.
Yeah.
Sidewalks, but
I was
People
also
can get
thinking
down
the
down.
ADA, you probably prioritize those too, so.
exactly.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. another thing for Leo. Good thing he showed up. Got money, people.
And trees are the worst thing. There's some of the newer sidewalks on Main Street that are already even because of the trees.
It's mine on here.
Just because you mentioned the multimodal master plan, could you walk us through what the plan for the bike lane is on one night? And where there's the concern about folks speeding and adding bikes to it.
Yep, so the city's major thoroughfare plan, which is about 30 years old, requires that there be no on-street parking on arterial streets, so that's one component of it. And then the city's multimodal plan called for the construction of bike lanes along Ninth Street. So the 2A project this year aims to do those. We're not widening the street or changing the footprint, but we're just gonna use the pavement width that's there in a different way. Will eliminate the ability to on-street park on North Ninth Street. It's not a very heavily used section, but that's obviously something that, you know, is probably important to a few people that do live there and use that. So we deliver door-to-door flyers to everybody on the street, let them know what was coming, gave them my email, gave them a picture of what the road would look like when it's done. I sent you one right before the meeting started, so you have the letter that went out. But yeah, it's something that would happen at the very end of the project, probably September, October timeframe. So we've got time to change course if there is a very strong feeling about that. Just didn't wanna surprise somebody when it was done and they saw the paint go down and then they found out about it, so.
Will there be a physical barrier for
No.
the bike lane?
Just a painted lane right now, so
On which side of the road or both?
each side. Essentially, you'll have a white line. You'll have 3 lanes of traffic, so Ninth Street will have a center left turn lane like it does in front of Washington Elementary. All the way up to Meadows area. And then there'll be like a 5-foot painted shoulder that acts as that.
So I think there's been citizen suggestions that it go on 10th instead of 9th, you know? But what do you say about that?
Bikes aren't a lot different than cars. They wanna go on the same place you wanna go on as a car. They wanna, I mean, it's the most convenient direct route. Bikes wanna use the most convenient direct route, the same as the car does, so. You can put a bike lane on 10. I would guess people would still wanna go where it's most convenient.
The other thing
Would-
I would just note is that we did do a multimodal master plan exercise that citizens did respond to and provide input into, was that just last year or 2 years ago?
Last year.
Started it 2 years ago. I think it got adopted midway last year, as I said.
Ninth Street is also an arterial, meaning that it has wider right of way.
Yep.
So there is more pavement and space for an actual bike lane versus some of the neighborhood streets.
I think the only thing that makes me worry as a biker is, you know, the speed and people do drive kind of all over Ninth Street. So if there is more of
It's lane
a
more,
curve or more of a,
there's no lines on Ninth Street to speak of right now
That's true.
either.
Yeah.
Put some lines in there and a turning lane and bike lane here.
that's true.
The only problem with most bike lanes is you can't get 2 bikes side by side going the opposite direction.
But having a lane on. each
You'd have
side.
one on each side, just to ride with traffic.
That's
That's the
good.
intent of it.
Now all you gotta do is teach bicycle riders how they're supposed to ride, which side of the road they're supposed to ride on.
Oh my
One
goodness.
step at a time.
Okay, there's a revenue stream. Licenses for riding a bicycle.
We do have
Used to
bicycle
teach.
licenses.
Used to teach that in elementary school.
They are not frequently used, and actually a citizen has offset the cost for folks to register the bicycles for the past year or so. And all that goes to the police department.
So coming in on US 50, just beautification,
East, west,
both ways, to make it look beautiful. And
I
I
mean,
don't know if it falls under yours as far as the public works, but I know you did some improvements last year. There was a number of places, but somehow, if you're a tourist, you're coming into town and you're on US 50, we've got some spots that are looking pretty rough. And I don't know that some of it's private property versus not, but how do we make US 50 look beautiful coming into town? So.
Well, we put some medians in. See that?
Yeah, no.
get a lot of compliments on the sign coming in.
You're a brave guy. I'd like to- You go to recording.
We as a city are responsible for Highway 50 outside of the pavement. CDOT owns it. They tell us what we can and can't do, but we're responsible to maintain everything. other than the asphalt and the signs, that's all CDOT takes care of. So we cut the grass, we, do the weed killers, and things like that, all through the sidewalks,
Trash,
all the median stuff, the trash.
Once you get past 15th, though, the state mows the stuff out there, don't they?
Oh,
Between the railroad tracks and the highway,
that's us,
you guys are doing that now?
sure. And the medians, we have to go out at 2 a.m. with police to weed whip the medians there around Orchard where there's that concrete median when it gets bad, so. That's all us. 9th Street too, same thing. There's not much to mow on 9th Street, but you can take care of everything outside of the asphalt
what about this way? How far do you go?
to the city limits.
Which is past
Just
college?
past the college, I wanna say.
It's right before you get to the entrance for Skyline Drive.
One other thing I wanted to bring up, and Will Colin's problem that he brought up last night. Has the city addressed what's gonna happen with the improved drainage through those pipes that they're cleaning? The state's coming in, cleaning those pipes out, lining them so they'll flow better, and it's gonna get across the highway. Where's it gonna go from there?
It goes to 32 and 33.
No, I mean, we're talking between, say, Orchard and 15th Street.
Yeah.
Cleaned out a bunch of pipes across that are gonna start.
We
flowing.
maintain all of ours downstream, so we should be in a good position. We don't try to let ours get to the condition that they let theirs get to. So we have
I
our
just-
back truck and we take care of our downstream stuff. I'm not expecting problems. That doesn't mean
I just
the
know
first
that there's a
rainstorm
whole
won't
bunch of
find
those,
something,
holes that start running a whole lot better than they did.
yeah, the most of them run irrigation water pretty regularly through the year that they did. So
But not
they,
stormwater.
not stormwater, so there would be some more, I'm sure.
One
Just
other
to-
thing, oh, go ahead.
Just to close that topic, and to give Leo a shout out, they've put together a letter to CDOT, kind of following up on the particulars that.
The Will's problem, that's a,
Yes.
somebody ought to be fined. Or be EPA involved in that, something serious.
Absolutely.
So there's been a couple of discussions and complaints. If there's a road, frontage road, whatever, and there's no curbs to be seen, no sidewalks to be seen, but somebody's going to change their usage on that street, they've got to put curbs, sidewalks and bikes in our bike trail. Is there any way we can? Because then they're the only ones on the whole street. And can we, any way we can phase that in where they put in an amount of money each year, and once you get 3 or 4 where there's actually a block, say, then it triggers and put the whole curb sidewalk in instead of one piece at a time. It may put one curb in and that's the only curb that's there for 5 or 10 years.
It'll have to be replaced by the time someone else puts another sidewalk and curb and gutter in.
Yeah, so could we look at that?
So Dave Lambert came to me yesterday. There's this who we're talking about. Yeah,
By
on
Ortega's?
on East Main.
Yeah, that's
just in more.
Yeah, and he did share with me the sort of the startings of a compromise, but he wasn't really in favor of that as well, because he felt he was gonna be on the hook for 20 years. And who knows what costs will be in 19 years and 11 months down the road. All of a sudden, he's got to put a $100,000 sidewalk in.
Yeah, I don't think we can do your deal, but if we can come up with some idea of compromise, so to say, or a plan.
We can, I don't know if the economic development
We are
group
gonna
is
take this
starting to look at some of that stuff.
Yep.
Okay, but you're gonna
There's
work with
certainly
Leo,
some-
right?
Yeah, but looking at policies as far as that prevents business thriving and moving forward and getting
Yeah.
deals done and those kind of things.
Yeah, so don't
And it's
forget
gonna-
it hits Leo and it hits Tammy.
Yeah.
It's,
But, you know, that's the point is we look at it from an economic development standpoint, kick it to finance committee for that part of it, so.
We'll just
Yeah.
have to be, I know yesterday we inadvertently both scheduled meetings that require Leo to be there, so we'll just have to be careful about scheduling to make sure that when you want to talk about that, he's not needed in the budget finance public works.
long as the rooms are close together.
We're gonna have to get a roller skate.
With us, he was saying, I go to the restroom, I'll be right back.
The technology is there now that we can have an AI Leo.
There you
So
go.
Leo can be in one spot and Leo loads up his whole personality and everything else and.
Couple cans and a string will work.
I'm just sticky about any AI.
Anything else, concerns from the town, from the citizens, from the business owners,
At that meeting this morning, the tourism thing, and I know that the Hotel St. Cloud said something about, they had to do an ADA on a second floor for a kitchen or something, yet there's no ADA accessibility up there. So they were frustrated about why they have to make the kitchen, is that right? It was the kitchen. We talked about why they're making the kitchen ADA accessible and all, putting in the extra dollars up there when there's no access period for, anyone. So, I mean, who that would go to, but thought it was interesting. As a business owner, that's.
ADA is more than somebody in a wheelchair. You know, you can be blind, you can be, I mean, there's all kinds of ADA qualifications.
Federally mandated.
That is correct.
I don't know if there's any variants or anything that might be worthwhile to talk to them. Again, tourism contribution back to the city. There's a way to.
They have a kitchen on the second floor. They've got a.
This is a different building. It's not the same club.
Oh, it's
is it the
That's the abstract
Oh.
building.
Actually, yeah.
so is that in the economic?
Yeah, we're gonna pull tourism in under that for sure, so, yeah, if that falls in there. What about things like kiosks and information and boxes for the public to suggestions? I know they can do it online, but I'm just wondering downtown to increase people's voices, to get them heard and, we're kicking around, but there's 18,000 other people out there. So some kind of way to do that. And I know we've just heard about the pothole thing, that they've got access to that, but just suggestions about stuff.
So a quick question. So how many people are in Kansas City?
17,000.
And the city owns.
So that was a 2000 census that I found.
No, that's correct. And we've lost about 0.5% in the last year or two.
And it looks like we have more traffic than when I moved.
Oh, maybe it has the county ground and all, maybe not.
Yeah,
City limits proper.
it's tricky when you look at the census because you will see there's household population and there's group quarters population. Group quarters population is the prisons and, you know, there's a couple other facilities that aren't prisons, but if you look at the history of that, you can see the group quarters populations actually decreasing and the household populations increasing. But they're kind of balancing each other out as you look at those numbers. So there's some growth in the household population, but for the most part, it's been flat.
So you're saying the high schoolers are driving. You got them coming up too. I don't know, it seems like there's a lot more traffic than there was just a few years ago. 2 or 4 years ago. But I guess unless there's anything else, anybody want to address anything? What you got anything?
Sir, just happy to be here.
You just mad because you didn't get all Leo's money or, you know, all that stuff?
I'm just trying to figure out how he did that. I'm gonna talk to him after the meeting.
As it relates to traffic, at least on Highway 50, the state CDOT, they have a system called Otis. And I believe they have historical traffic counts there, correct?
You can access, I don't know how far back, but you can access their counts.
Yeah, so if you're concerned about traffic on Highway 50, you can look at Otis and look at some of those historical traffic numbers.
Is that available
One more
online through?
Through the state's website. If you Google CDOT Otis, it should come up right away.
I told the tourism board this morning when we talked to them, so I own the U-Haul that operated 50 now. So in the last 30 days, we went from the bottom 4 to the top U-Haul dealership in the region. And our growth was 500% from last February to this February. So I attribute that to the guy Nick who works for me. We used to work with Poland Orchards, but it's a great location. But what I brought up was that we had 80 people or 110 people come through in January and February. And out of 110 people, 80 of those people who dropped off we're new residents to the community.
Yep.
And so no one's touched on that in the tourism side. I don't have any packets. I have nothing to share with them. So I brought that up that we could do that, and that's kind of what prompted me to, how to get that, so. Yeah, tourist pack, there's nothing, I mean.
Yeah, welcome to Canyon Package, you're welcome to.
Yeah, but I got rental cars too, rental cars.
They did.
Chambers, that
Huh?
seems.
I know I talked
I
to.
do have one more issue, Fred.
There's in Brenda and Rich.
Okay, I have a card from somebody, I thought it was married, but I just read it now, but I left a message for her earlier today, she'll call back.
Visitor guides, and they also, they used to have new guides.
So I have,
Yeah.
yeah, I have the U-Haul, and then I have the rental cars too, and so I'm gonna be up to like 9 or 10 rental cars here, and I give them 50 miles free. And then if they want to spend money in town, which I encourage, because I don't let them go to Kansas or whatever, I'm trying to keep them local, they're not 2024 cars. But I let them, if they spend money in town up to $100, and I give them $1 for what they spend in town, so if they spend $100 in town. That day they get 150 miles, so if they wanna go somewhere, they don't have to pay.
Cool.
But again, no package in the car for them to go. And so a suggestion, we're working, throwing a suggestion out to them to give me QR codes for the bridge and for the outfitters and be able to say, I'll put them all on the car. That way, when that car does make it to Salida, it says, come visit Kansas City, and they can look up and scan.
So the two things that I would put in every car, and I know you can get both of them at the chamber, there's a Royal Gorge Visitors Guide. Royal Gorge Region Visitors Guide is a nice glossy thing that even has suggestions of daily itineraries. It's 8.5 by 11. And then there's a brand new, it's called the Fremont Adventure Recreation Adventure Guide. And that's all of the trails, all of the climbing, like all of the outdoor rec that people love to come here for. And there are boxes and boxes of both at the chamber, which is at 9th and Highway 50, and they love it when people come and ask for lots. So I'm sure that they will give you boxes here.
And where can you get those trail guides?
The Royal Gorge Chamber Alliance at 9th and 50.
So I do have one more
I
question.
did have a lot of questions on that.
With the snowpack being where it is, are we addressed at all with low water supply and irrigation and all those kind of things?
Good point. So our water committee, I meant to cover this, is gonna say separate. And Travis has volunteered to give an update on our emergency procedures, what's coming up, the different steps, the whole.
Is there any snippet you can give us that are we at threat of challenges
I
with
mean,
water supply?
It's 60-something degrees in Aspen today. Glenwood Springs
I
has,
understand.
this is the lowest snow they've had in 57 years.
Last I knew, we were 43% snowpack.
Yeah, so.
The city has been called out once in its water rates in history. City has very senior water.
Yeah, we have very.
That was one day.
There's water running down the river.
That was one day. So that doesn't mean that this year is gonna, isn't gonna surpass that, but the city has pretty.
Right, so we can shower and you can kick baths and do all that stuff, or is it gonna affect people's lawns?
So before each FBC meeting for sure.
I had a meeting with NRCS Rob Fontaine yesterday or 2 days ago. I don't know if everybody knows Rob, know him, NRCS. So he does all the, so he's put together a package for me for the ditch off the Grandview, that's up by the Home Depot on that side. And I'm trying to work with 4 Mile to be able to get them some water shares. I have more water shares on the Grandview. The only person that beats me is the prison on water shares. So I have plenty to share if I'm contiguous on my property, but we talked about the water and there's, I didn't know this, but we were concerned about the water and, what was gonna happen. And I guess there's some reservoirs, some holding,
Twin Lakes.
those are full. So even if we did, we are below what he brought up, 2012, and gave me a website to go to. I have it on my phone somewhere, but I can go in there and you can physically check to see. They have these snowpack things that they lay down and they're checked out what it is. And we're not as bad as we have been in the past. It's not great. But if we are gonna be low this year, but the reservoir, holding is good. So he's not expecting it to be terrible. So
That's good news.
that doesn't help your front lawn in town, but it helps me because everything I do with is ditch. So I'm watering my field with ditch.
Mayor and the water committee, we put together a emergency response plan. For whatever.
So that's in the works.
Chemicals spills or.
Well, that's what he's gonna cover.
And that's what he's gonna cover, and there's stages
Next
that look
council.
at going through, and, you may get to stage 1 this year where you're just getting people thinking about drought. I'm gonna be really surprised if there's a restriction in town.
Okay,
That's my opinion.
good news.
But we know it's gonna impact the river and the rafters.
Yes.
Sure.
And revenue.
So I'll send you the website, I'll send it over to you.
That'd be great. Thank you.
All right, with that, if there's not anything else, we'll wrap up. Thank you. I think it was pretty successful. We'll look forward to the next one, April 9th.
If I could make a suggestion or a request, if we are going to be giving council something, information on the pool on April 6th, that might make sense to meet before then.
As the entire group. Good idea, that, since that's the way we're doing it. So the next one would be the 19th. That would be the Thursday after the regular council meeting, right?
Is there something already scheduled that day? You know,
Not that I'm seeing right now.
If you just put it a week before the 6th, though, that's so you get as much time as possible.
The 26th.
Or the second.
Second would probably,
are you gonna want something actually in the council packet? Because if so, that means you need to back it up a week. You can't do
Friday before.
Yeah,
do the Friday, yeah, you can't do that.
they've, on the agenda that you've got the standing, committees.
So that-
So this is updates from the committees.
Yeah, council
So I think they'd be fine.
If council does need to give direction on the creation of an ordinance, is that okay, or would it need to have an agenda item in order for us to make a direction?
Not for direction.
So what date did we?
I think April 2nd, that is the week of DCI, so you will probably not be available.
I would
You need to zoom in. Yeah.
Floor again.
So. 3:45 again, 4 o'clock. Good.
Yeah.
I have them. I have that schedule already in my calendar.
You have it
I
in
think
there?
we scheduled. Ahead. Those meetings.
So first Thursday after the first meeting, so our regular meeting would have been the 9th
Yeah,
of April.
so this will be the second.
Brian, procedurally, since if council were to give direction to have an ordinance written to stop the collection, since it's not a punitive one, it does not have to be referred to committee before it goes back to council? Is
Correct.
that correct?
Correct.
Okay, just making sure.
Ryan, you and I have a meeting report that afternoon at 3:30, hopefully Ryan or text us. For
I have
us.
to move that for DCI anyways, so.
I think we can ask them at the next meeting next week, whether,
If we can shift it in.
if we can shift it, yeah.
If they can't, what would be the next date?
We'll just ask them. to
The
shift
first?
it. It's far enough out.
Yeah, either that or, we'll have a better understanding of what's on that agenda, whether or not we, need to attend or not. But we've got a lot of stakeholders that are already attending that meeting.
Yeah, so please, as we've got a month before the next one, the subcommittees, please keep working on some of those projects and keeping us up to date. Appreciate it. Well, thank you very much.